Welcome to Integrity Inspire, your daily dose of inspiration and motivation, featuring the bright and talented members of the Integrity Marketing Group family. Now, here's your host, Integrity co-founder and CEO, Brian W. Adams.
Hello, everybody. Thanks so much for joining today's Inspire podcast. Man, we've seen people with all types of backgrounds and how they got into the insurance business, but this one is a one-of-a-kind story, and I can't wait to share it with you today. I'm so excited to be joined by Chester and Sherri Ash from the C.Ash group in Bedford Heights, Ohio, right outside of Cleveland. They've had an incredible business experience. They serve so many people. One of our core values here at Integrity is serving others, and they do that in a way that just takes it to the next level. And I can't wait for you guys to get to know them. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having
Man,
us.
you guys get the award for the best dressed couple. Oh my gosh.
We appreciate it.
You look amazing.
Thank you.
It's an honor to get to know you guys. Mm-hmm. You guys have built such an incredible business. And I got started in the final expense business. Started out selling door to door in college, door knocking, didn't even have a lead. It's always great to get to know people that are from that background that I grew up in. And so I'm excited to be here with you guys. You guys have built an amazing business. It's based on service. But you didn't start out in the insurance business. I like to say nobody woke up and thought, man, I'm going to get in the insurance business.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
So there may be a few of you. So don't send me an email. Send an email. I don't think there's many. There's most of us, like, we tripped into this business. I know you had kind of a fork in the road experience. But before we get to that, tell us about how you got, what you were doing before insurance, because this is maybe one of the most interesting transitions I've ever heard, and I can't wait to hear more about it.
Well, it was a couple of jobs before then. So I did auto industry, and then 9/11 happened, went into the mortgage business, and of course that domino effect happened after that. So I had to reinvent myself.
Yep.
So through reinventing myself, I was watching TV, I saw an ad on the back of the bus. And it said, something bells. And so—
like a Bell's bondsman.
Right, yeah. Exactly. And so I had met a guy that came into my gift shop, so I reached out to him. When I reached out to him, it was the same thing like life insurance. We did a weekend course, got my license. And the crazy part about bail bonds, like, you get all the authority of a police officer without the training. Exactly.
Really?
Yeah. So I jumped into bail bonds, wrote a couple of bonds, and then what happened was a lot of the women agents, when someone actually skipped and didn't go to court, they needed to actually get that person back into custody. So because my brother had talked a lot about bounty hunting, made it seem all entertaining. And so I jumped directly into it. So I started picking up all of these skips, riding around.
They call them skips?
Yeah, skips, because they skipped court.
Because they skipped the bond. Yeah,
they skipped court, yeah. And so we had to get them back into custody. And so I was fighting in the back of, what do you call it, the shops where people get their cars fixed.
Yeah.
So chasing people down the street, but yeah, that happened for a short period of time.
Yeah, I don't know if everybody can hear this right now.
Okay.
But on the mics, the moment you started talking about bail bonds, we started having like police sirens going off. Did you hear that?
Right.
I don't know if y'all can hear that on this, but
That's
literally,
right
when you said it, it was like, cue the music. We're into this. So you're writing bonds, and then all of a sudden you're going to
no training.
You're like Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Yeah, that was my influence too. He was hot on TV at
the time. You
remember?
Yeah, he was a great TV.
Yeah, but he didn't have an actual firearm. But we had actual firearms going to pick up our skips.
So what was that like, man? So it's nerve-wracking. I know when I got started selling insurance, I'd go up to the door and I'd be like, oh man, I don't know. Like, I was scared of rejection, right? So I'm like knocking the door and I'd take a step back. Man, I could do it right now. If this doesn't work out, I'm picking up a kid. I'm going back.
Right.
I'm going back in the field. But I'd take a step back, they come to the door, and I'd kind of tell them what I was doing and try to get in the house to serve them. So you're going up. It's a little different of a knock, huh? What's that like?
Oh yeah. Once we got to that part, so it was a process. So what they would do is, we didn't have a lot of technology back then, so they would give us the actual paper, which will have the profile of the person, and a lot of times the picture, and sometimes not the picture of the person.
So you might not even know what they look like.
I had to figure it out. Right, exactly.
And this is before like Facebook and social media, pretty much, right?
Social media had been somewhat present.
They had MySpace.
Yeah, no, social media was, yeah, exactly.
Remember MySpace?
Yeah, I do remember MySpace. I could never figure out how to program my page.
Dude, they had all the cool music you could put on there. It was actually way ahead of its time. You're friends with Tom.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these people are too young to remember MySpace, but
yeah.
So you're just trying to piece it together.
Trying to piece it together. So I'll give you a couple stories if you don't mind.
I would love it.
Are
you kidding me?
Yeah. So Sherrie actually been on a couple of them with me as well. So,
is that how y'all met?
No, that's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother story. So I actually use my kids too. So what would happen is, so I get a profile of someone. So what I would do is actually go scout out to see if that person was there. So one case, actually, these are my kids. I never put them in harm's way. So we would go down and the person was in the inner city projects of Cleveland. And so we'll go down there and I'm down there playing football with my son, throwing the football around and paying attention at the same time. And once I pretty much figured out that that was the person and he was living there, then later on I would come back, and that's when we come back with the
Bell bondsman.
Yeah.
So what you would say? What would you say when you walk up there?
I say bail bonds.
Bail bonds.
Yeah. I probably didn't say that. No, that didn't sound intimidating enough. So no, I would just say knock on the door and be like, hey, is Brian there? You know, we're here for Brian. We have a warrant for Brian. House will be surrounded. Then the thing about it is,
so how many guys would you take? Like 4 or so?
In the beginning, I was doing it by myself. So so my family was getting concerned. My cousin, who was married to a cop, and I don't have no vest on. What I was looking at on TV, and so I crazy. Don't do this if you decide to go in this business. Get some training.
Oh my God.
So I did initially like that, and then I ended up partnering up with some other guys that were bail bondsmen, and so we were all support each other on different searches. Yeah.
So most of them were like smaller ticket items.
Yeah, smaller ticket items. Yeah, but at the end of the day, the one thing that when you're doing bail bonds or when you're doing the hunting part of it, you have to treat every single individual as dangerous as the ones that appear to be dangerous.
Yeah.
Because the person that you picked up on a traffic skip could be a killer that just got caught on a traffic skip.
Yeah.
Versus someone that actually got caught. Like someone that had to get the one guy was fighting inside of the garage. He was 60 years old. I didn't have a picture of him. And so his girlfriend called and told me where to get him. I didn't call nobody to help me. He's 60 years old, been in the penitentiary for X amount of years. I race over there, drive up in my truck, drive into the lot, run into the gas station. When I get to the back of the garage, he's there, but he's emptying stuff out of his pockets. He's prepared.
He's ready
to go. But everything goes wrong. And so as I brass my weapon and tell him that we're here for a skip, he puts his hands up and I'm going to put the cuffs on him. Then X factor. Everybody around me then start to cause chaos. The guy turns around with one cuff on his arm. And now he's getting encouraged by all the people that are around me. So in my philosophy, I'm like, we're gonna do this the easy way, we're gonna do it the hard way. And so, I figured that I could wrestle him to the ground. So I went to wrestle the guy to the ground and I'm squeezing. I'm wondering, why is he not hitting the ground? He has his hand inside of a car. Now, the crazy part about it, I have a taser. So I reach for the taser fall on the ground, batteries fall out of it. So needless to say, he ended up going to jail.
Yeah. You got him. So when you got into insurance, you're like, I can do this. I can knock on doors differently here.
Easy.
Easy.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Sherrie, how did you get it? Well, first of all, how did you guys meet? You said that there was a different story.
I'm gonna let you go ahead and
so
tell this
how did you guys
That's
meet?
a very interesting story. So in 1997, I had a girlfriend and there was 2 other girlfriends. We was all together. And it's a biker story because we loved to ride. Well, I loved to ride on his bike. And what happened was my girlfriend and her cousin and her friend, they were dating other bikers. So of course there's me and I didn't have anyone. So my best friend seen Chester and thought that we would be a perfect match.
Oh.
Now.
She got her version too.
Right, that is my version. Now, the point was we were all supposed to ride bikes.
Right.
Chester, you can pick up there.
All right, so we ride motorcycles and we're in a restaurant and her friend comes in and she asked me, was I dating anybody? So I told her no. So she said, well, my girl is single, so here's her number. Kind of a little awkward, but sure, I'll take her number. Maybe a week later or 2 weeks later, she sees me again. She's like, you ain't call my girl? I'm like, nah. So she like, well, here's her number again. And so I end up calling her, and we end up talking over the phone, and that happened for a while. And then at some particular point, we end up meeting. Then we end up doing the dating, and I was a single father. So I had full custody of my son.
How long? Jump in.
Yeah.
So really what intrigued me about Chester is when we first started talking, he was talking a lot about his grandfather and his love for his grandfather.
Oh.
So I'm looking at him like he really has love for his family. And the fact that he had custody of his son, I'm like, okay, this is somebody that has the morals and the values that I have. So I really knew that it was God sent. So immediately his son became my son.
Yeah.
Oh, what a great story.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that is a great story. I love that story.
Yeah.
So you guys, how did y'all get into the insurance business? So you were Bell's bondsman, and were you guys married at that time?
No.
You weren't.
No.
Yeah.
No, it took years. I was a knucklehead.
She would have been like, no chance. You're doing what?
No, you know, I really
supported me.
I supported him
Wow.
in every career that he did.
Yeah.
So like he said, he did take me out a few times on the bounty hunter. I just was a ride and die for him.
Not on the
Wow,
dangerous
I love
part,
that.
but again, the
Ride or die.
observation.
I didn't know I was just ride or die.
Yeah.
I always knew that he would protect me no matter what.
Oh.
Yeah.
So how did you get into the insurance business?
Insurance was, just like you said, nobody says, well, I wanted to be an insurance agent.
Yeah.
So one day going to get something to eat, I tell everybody this is what I call my why in the road. I'm making a decision. Do I go get chicken Philly from the right, from Calypso's? Do I go to China Mountain on the left? And as I'm sitting there, not knowing that this is really gonna alter my life, I decided to go get the chicken Philly.
Okay.
So I'm in a restaurant and I'm giving out, another thing about Bell Bonds, when you give out your card, they give it back to you. Life insurance doesn't work that way, right? So I give a young lady my card that she had grew up. She was a little bit younger than me. And so she had grew up with us, but she pulled up, she had the Lexus and she was dressed nice. And so it didn't happen in that particular moment. We just exchanged cards. But when I got home, she called me. And my nickname is Drew. They call me Drew. It's my middle name for short. And so she's like, Drew, you'll be very good at what I do. And I said, what is it? She said, life insurance. I said, I'm not interested. Because my version or my view of a life insurance agent was the old debit agent, wrinkled suit, knocking on grandma's door, bugging them. And she like, don't answer the door. And so I didn't see the future and I couldn't see it. So she called me back again, told me I'm not interested. This happened, I'm not lying, at least for about 15 times.
Wow, she was
right.
persistent.
She was persistent, right. And I told her, then I thought about the 3 ships. It's not in the Bible, but you hear the story about the 3 ships where the guy's dying and the ship comes and he's like, well, come on, I'll save you. And he's like, no, God's gonna take care of me. Second ship come. Say, no, God's gonna take care of me. Third ship come. God, no, I'm fine. God's gonna save me. The guy dies, goes to heaven, and he says, God, you told me if I have faith, then you'll save me. He said, I sent you 3 ships.
Yeah.
And so here it is. That's the way I viewed it. Got the resume, put it together, missed the first interview. She calls back again. Drew, why you didn't go to interview? That's 16 times. So now I said, set it up again. She set it up again. I actually go to the company and I kind of like just saw it immediately. And so at that particular point, still not taking it serious, but I start dipping into team building a little bit, then left that company, became a broker a little bit, then went to another captive organization, honed in on my team building skills, and then that led us back here, which is
it's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank God she was so persistent.
Yeah, every time I see her, she pays for nothing.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Man, that's amazing. And how did you get into the insurance business?
Actually, Chester inspired me to get into the insurance business. So how I like to explain it is, prior to me getting my license in 2017, I'm always Chester's cheerleader. So I support him in everything he do. So
I love that.
Yes.
That's awesome.
I want to say it's like I'm in the stands watching him, and he's inspiring me. So I'm watching him, with his agents, and then I'm also at some of the events. I go to the parties. I watch him as he's going through all of, the struggles and putting in all the hard work.
It's hard.
Yes.
Years ago, he would receive the title of True Grit. And it's because of his hard work. It's because of his integrity. It's because of what he puts in and the love that he pours into people. So he inspired me. He's like my biggest motivator.
Oh.
So in 2017, I didn't realize it, but Chester also recruits, trains, and motivates. So at that time, he encouraged me to get my license. And when we talk, I'm always like, well, you know what, that's your love, that's your passion. But Chester's seen more in me.
Oh.
And so he inspired me. He didn't push me. So I said, you know what? Chester got his insurance license. He believes in me, so I want to do it too. I'm not gonna lie, I was really scared about it because what if I didn't pass the test? What if I didn't pass the course? So I actually went and took the course. I got my license the first time.
Yes. There's a lot of people that don't pass the first time.
Right. Yeah. So I was so scared when I was still shaking and scared when I got my license that I didn't even call Chester. I was just sitting there like, I did it. So the biggest thing about Chester, inspired me. He's seen that I can be a part of the team that he was on. So I became a part of the team. I also went to the trainings as well. So I'm growing, I'm learning. Right now, at first we started with final expense.
Yeah.
But I have so much love for the Medicare.
Yeah, I agree.
I love talking to seniors. I love learning about the products, learning about the carriers, and actually educating the seniors so we can figure out what plan is best for them. Also, I love just giving back. Also, Chester inspired me because he loves to give back to the community.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize it at this time, but I always helped him serve the community. So that was the way I can do the things that I love to do and also include it into our family business. So that's where we are today.
That is awesome. And look, I think this, this whole business is about serving others. And as soon as you learn that, it all becomes so much easier. And you're talking about inspire. This is the name of the podcast. I mean, we think it's so important that we've got these stories that inspire others, and y'all have inspired me in so many different ways. And y'all, talking about giving back in the community, you guys really believe in trying to help solve the problem of food insecurity, I think, as you call it. And I heard you guys just had a community event where you fed over 1,000 people.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. That is incredible.
That actually came about, it was 2 years ago. Spontaneously, it was like me and you were sitting here right now. It was like feed 1,000 people. And so
you just heard
feed 1,000 people.
You just heard like the voice of God that said,
I can't say I heard it, but it's, that thought came in, feed 1,000 people. No organization, no structure, no anything. I have a 14-foot trailer. And so, we went to Sam's Club. I got all the food and everything. Didn't know the complexity of it. Trailers full of food. Went and bought a grill spontaneously, told Sherrie about it. She had to come from work, told a couple of agents, like we were out there.
She went for it right then.
Right then and there, just did it.
I love that.
And then the crazy part about it, that evening I had a meeting with one of the execs that was coming in town, and we ended up pulling it off. It's a lot of pressure. Then, one of the things about when you do the feedings, and I'll tell you about the first one later, is that the effect that you get is, it's something that just vibrates. So, and then why we actually do it is a whole nother reason. But so that was year 1. Year 2, we got a little bit better. Agency's growing. Year 3, this year, structured.
Yeah.
We were out there 20 agents deep. We're rotating on corners, because we're out there with the signage. We got professional signs now. We didn't have a bullhorn. We never advertise. And then we have the music out there and we're having fun. And so not only do we got the opportunity to feed someone, but also to educate the community just as well.
Yeah.
Because they're asking questions. We just say, just put us on your social media page
shout us out.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome.
So, but there was one story this weekend that vibrated, and where the lady comes up and we're talking about the life insurance product. She said, I can't afford nothing. I get $200 and some per month. She said, but when I get the opportunity to get a free meal, like that right there is a game changer. Because growing up for me, having a large family, food runs out at a certain period of time.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, we had to be creative, and that's another story where my mom, to get the stuff that we wanted, you know, we had to hustle.
Yeah.
And so, but then before we even did that, how it really got into my spirit was when I got into the insurance business, I decided I wanted to feed a senior home. And when I went to feed that senior home, the caterer didn't show up. So the team was forced to serve ourselves. And again, that's where that initial feeling came in. And I said from that particular point on that my agency, anybody that comes through, will have to go through the process of doing this, understanding it's a giving spirit, because if you're doing it thinking that you want something or you want to gain something, it never works.
Yeah.
So
I agree with that.
That's how we adopted it.
So what do you cook? What do you guys make?
So we get about 600 burgers, about 600 hot dogs.
Wow.
We get
Chips.
1,000 bags of chips, water.
Oh, that's
yeah,
awesome.
exactly. And you have to be strategic with it because you're out there in 90-degree weather.
Yeah.
So we got to get the dry ice to keep them frozen.
Yeah.
And all of that stuff. We had one grill, but now we know to have two grills, two cooks. So.
Dude, that is awesome. And the community just comes
They
out.
just come
They just
out.
pull up, and then we find a business. Family Dollar allowed us to use their parking lot. We kind of strategic with that because we know cars are going to be pulling in. And so with that happening, it's just a lot of room for everybody to have fun and to get in there and walk away.
Man.
Yeah.
No, and you're not advertising. People just find out.
No,
Hey,
Just
there's
find
free
out.
food.
Yeah, and once people start, we doing the social media and they start putting it on their social media page. And I'm strategic about the intersection that we do it.
Yeah.
So it's got to be one of the busiest intersections in the inner city, if that makes sense to you. So, and that's the strategy.
Dude, that is amazing. I would love to see that one.
Yeah,
Day.
so we
That
got
sounds
some-
amazing.
Yeah.
That's incredible. That's so inspiring. I know that you also really believe that everything rises and falls in leadership with leadership, and I can't agree more. I just feel like that is so true. What led you to that?
They say leaders are readers, and so I read everything John Maxwell. You know, so
He's great, man.
Yeah, and that's one of the slogans that John Maxwell actually says. But you know, when you're in business or if you're in competition, whatever it is, especially when we look at our guys in the military, you know, when you're in leadership, when you make that decision, you know, whether if it's a good one or it's a bad one, you know, I have to reference another book, Extreme Ownership.
Yeah, it's a great one.
Yeah, you have to own it, you know, so everything, you know, whether if you're a winner, if you lose, it's always going to reflect on the leader. But just to give you an example of something that happened during that senior feed. So we up there, we're grilling, people are coming, man, we jam, everybody having a good time. Sherrie leads from the front, so she's outworking everybody with the burgers and putting everything together, make sure they're getting a well welcome. Then all of a sudden, the police department pulls up. And they pulling up and they're saying, well, do you guys have a permit? I said, no, I didn't get a permit, but Family Dollar.
Didn't know we needed one.
Right, but Family Dollar said it is okay to do this out here. And they said, well, you need a permit. Somebody called and said the music is too loud, or, you know, they probably don't have a permit. So we're getting a little hater. And so in that moment, my team is coming around and they're like, we got it on video. My team is coming around and they're like, they're ready to go crazy. So it's police officer, they were like, who would, and I said, hold on. I said, pause everybody, hold on 1 second. I said, problem resolution. So, and the cop said, we don't even want to do this. There's so much more going on. You out here feeding people. And so they weren't, you know, the way that I engaged them was the way that they responded.
Yeah, sure.
So I said, we got 2 grills out here, give us time. And so, and they did that, and then they drove away. So we went to find another location. In the meantime, I said, everybody get on the phone. Let's see who can get in contact or figure out who got a connection with the mayor.
Yeah.
We went and set up another location. They was okay with it. We were coming back to break it down. My agent's on the phone. Maisha Johnson, who was one of our top producers, had a relationship with another congresswoman. She then contacted the mayor of that city, who then contacted the chief of the police department. The cop came back and said, I don't know who y'all know, but guess what?
But
y'all
can I have
all
a
good.
burger?
Right. No, we said, come on. And so what we did is we pulled them out the car.
Oh, that's awesome.
And we pulled them out the car, and I let the team know, it's like, hey, listen, because of the way that he engaged us and the way that we engaged him, and he did it with integrity, no pun intended, he did it with integrity, is the reason why we came to the result. And we bigged him up, took a picture with him, and
That's awesome.
got it on video.
Did you get a burger?
Oh, he got 2 burgers, no bun.
Oh, I love that, dude.
So,
I love that. That is
problem
amazing.
resolution. Yes.
Well, hey, you guys have built such an incredible business, and you've got the heart of service. You fit into our culture so well because it's all about integrity. It's about serving people, partnering together, having respect. It's all about family.
Yes.
What are you most excited about joining Integrity today?
It's the resources, the relationships. We're sitting here with you, Brian, and God has really blessed us. Some situations you may think that are tragedies and they're the tough times. You don't realize that other doors are actually opening. Yeah. But what we're talking about, Medicare Center, Lead Center, Ask Integrity, we have the Health Council. Yeah. And even with the meeting last night, just realized that, we have our expectations for growth, but for me to say, well, what is it going to be? That's like putting a cap on something, and
there's no limit.
There's no limit.
There's no limit to how many people we need to serve. Yeah. And together, I'm honored to be able to partner with you guys and be able to serve you guys. And I want to come out to the next feed. I would love to do that, guys. That would be amazing. Yes. Hey, thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to be your partner.
Pleasure.
As I told you, this is one of the more unique stories we've ever heard about going from bail bondsman, bounty hunter.
Yes.
Bounty hunter to insurance icon. I mean, what you guys are doing, especially the way you serve your community, is inspiring to me. And I'm honored to be part of this and can't wait to partner with you guys, see how many more people we can serve. Because I truly believe this is ride or die. Like we're in it together, and it's about how do we go out and help even more people. So it's been an honor to be able to hang out with you guys today and share your story. I hope you've been just as inspired as I have been today. No matter where you are in life, whatever you're doing, there's more people we can serve. I think that we're just getting started. So thanks again.
Thanks
again, guys.
Hey, Brian, God bless you. Before we actually go, there's a quote that says, "The thrill in taking lasts a day. The thrill in giving lasts a lifetime."
I love that.
So today, we want to give you something, if that's possible.
Oh, man.
Yes.
Oh, you don't need to do that.
Yeah. Oh, we got you.
Oh, man. I love that.
Yes. We were blessed to go to South Africa.
Yes.
Really?
Yes, for an incentive trip. And so we brought this back. And as we were preparing, I said, Sherry, something telling me to bring this in and give this to.
Oh my gosh,
open
this
that up.
is
and I don't know if you're a wine.
I am a wine guy.
But
oh my gosh, these are beautiful.
Look
at this.
So we got the pinotage, which is only in South Africa.
Oh my gosh, this is
that's
so
2012, 2008 Shiraz.
Oh my gosh.
And then because we saw the big 5, we figured you had to have the corks.
I love it for our 5 core values.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, thank you guys so much. Really, I really appreciate it.
Yes.
You guys, you've got to come back and drink this. It's too early in the morning right now. You got to come back and we'll drink this together. But man, thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Y'all,
welcome and thanks for having us.
You did not need to do this, but this is so humbling.
Yes.
And I love being with you guys and just honored to be your partner. So I hope everybody else is as excited as I am, and I can't wait for tonight. Hey, thanks again, guys. Appreciate y'all. God bless you. And hope everybody has an incredible week. Take care.